in relation to the question that the Deputy Speaker has asked on AI. This is a question from a Kenyan living in Finland who tells me he recently, and he also comes from Kiambu, he recently read an article in one of the newspapers in Helsinki on the working conditions that are described as equivalent to modern slave labor, where American big tech companies are using young Kenyans, especially to do what is described as harmful, removing what is described as harmful content or crude content on Facebook, on TikTok, Instagram, on largely main social media platforms. I say that they ensure that they review Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram to ensure that these important platforms are not filled with hate speech or incitement to violence. We watch murders, executions, child sexual abuse, and rape, often for more than 8 hours a day. And we are paid less than $2 an hour for it. The workers described it as part of the excerpt from that article. And therefore, would want to hear what you would intend to do as Cabinet Secretary now in charge of ICT. One, to protect these young Kenyans from being exploited by the big tech companies working on AI from the US and other developed countries. And two, to also protect these young Kenyans from the harmful effects of the content that they watch, that they have to go through as they work. And, mental health is indeed a big issue and has been rated as one of the big issues, especially with those working in the tech space in the country. And probably part of it is out of this engagement with content that they are finding online as they work. That article spoke of the work that is usually done by students, housewives, and groups of people who are in a weak position. So what I wanted to hear from you is what policy proposals would you be having to ensure, one, that the big tech companies first conform to our labor laws. Two, they are not exploiting these people because they're in a weak position. Because what they are doing is taking advantage of our students because they can be paid $2. $2 translates to about 300 shillings an hour. But in the US, nobody will be paid $2 for whatever mundane task you are given. So I'd want to hear what policy proposals you'd bring into the ministry to ensure that we enforce our labor laws with the big tech companies, as much as we're in a third world and developing country, but also big tech companies are not taking advantage of our resource, because these young people who are tech savvy are a resource to this country and to the world, and therefore they ought to be compensated properly.